Human Rights and Social Work. Part 2. International Treaties and Conventions for Human Rights. 1. International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, 1966. Came into force, 1976. Purpose, protects civil and political rights such as the right to life, freedom of speech, religion, and voting. Monitoring body, Human Rights Committee. 2. International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, ICERD, 1965. Came into force, 1969. Purpose, prohibits racial discrimination and promotes understanding among races. Monitoring body, Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. 3. International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, ICESCR, 1966. Came into force, 1976. Purpose, ensures rights like education, health, work, and adequate standard of living. Monitoring body, Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. 4. Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, 1979. Came into force, 1981. Purpose, aims to eliminate discrimination against women in all forms. Monitoring body, Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. 5. Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, 1989. Came into force, 1990. Purpose, protects the civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights of children. Monitoring body, Committee on the Rights of the Child. 6. International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of Their Families, ICRMW, 1990. Came into force, 2003. Purpose, protects migrant workers and their families from exploitation and abuse. Monitoring body, Committee on Migrant Workers. 7. Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD, 2006. Came into force, 2008. Purpose, promotes full equality and participation of persons with disabilities. Monitoring body, Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. 8. International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance, CED, 2006. Came into force, 2010. Purpose, prevents secret detentions and enforced disappearances. Monitoring body, Committee on Enforced Disappearances. International Human Rights Organizations. 1. UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. History, established in 1950, in the aftermath of World War II. Structure. Headed by the High Commissioner. Governed by the UN General Assembly and Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. Functions. Protects and supports refugees worldwide. Assists in their voluntary repatriation, resettlement, or integration. Monitors refugee conditions and promotes international cooperation. 2. Amnesty International. Established, 1961, UK. Focus, preventing and ending grave abuses of human rights, advocating for freedom of expression, fair trials, and protection against torture and death penalty. 3. Human Rights Watch. Established, 1978, USA. Focus. Investigates human rights abuses, produces detailed reports, and advocates for justice and policy reform globally. 4. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Established, 1945. Role in human rights. Promotes education for all, cultural diversity, scientific cooperation, and freedom of expression. Protects cultural heritage and combats discrimination through education. 5. ILO, International Labor Organization. Established, 1919. Focus. Promotes rights at work. Encourages decent employment opportunities. Enhances social protection and strengthens dialogue on work-related issues. 6. OHCHR, Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. Established, 1993. Function. Leads global human rights efforts. Works with governments and civil society to promote human rights norms. Supports treaty bodies and monitors rights compliance. Social Work Code of Ethics for protection of human rights. The Code of Ethics in Social Work provides a framework for ethical practice and upholds the core values and responsibilities of the profession. These ethics are closely linked to the promotion and protection of human rights. Core values of social work ethics. Human services. Commitment to serving individuals, families, and communities. Prioritizes the well-being and needs of people, especially the vulnerable and marginalized. Social justice. Advocates for equal access to resources, opportunities, and protection under the law. Challenges discrimination, oppression, and inequality in all forms. Dignity and worth of the person. Every individual is unique and deserving of respect. Social workers promote self-determination and support personal growth. Importance of human relationships. Recognizes relationships as central to change and well-being. Encourages collaboration with clients, communities, and professionals. Integrity. Upholding honesty, transparency, and ethical decision-making in practice. Builds trust and maintains professional standards. Competence. Commitment to continuous learning and professional development. Applies knowledge and skills effectively in diverse situations. Themes defined by the Code of Ethics. Conduct. Social workers must demonstrate professional and ethical behavior in all interactions. They must avoid conflicts of interest and ensure confidentiality. Responsibility to clients. Respect the autonomy, dignity, and rights of clients. Promote client well-being and support informed decision-making. Responsibility to colleagues and employers. Encourage respectful collaboration. Address unethical conduct and advocate for fair work environments. Responsibility to the social work profession. Uphold the integrity and reputation of the profession. Participate in research, education, and policy development to improve practice. Human rights perspective in social work practice. Social work is inherently aligned with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR. Emphasizes protection of civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. Advocates for empowerment, inclusion, and access to justice for all individuals. Ethnic sensitive practice and social work. Cultural competence is key in dealing with clients from diverse ethnic backgrounds. Social workers must recognize and value cultural differences. Avoid cultural imposition or ethnocentrism. Adapt interventions to respect clients' cultural contexts and identities. Feminist practice in social work. Focuses on gender equality, empowerment, and dismantling patriarchal structures. Key features. Addresses power imbalances in society and personal relationships. Encourages client voice and participation, especially for women and marginalized genders. Challenges gender-based violence, discrimination, and systemic inequality. Social work with victims of human rights violations. Social work plays a critical role in promoting human dignity, social justice, and supporting individuals or communities affected by human rights violations. This includes interventions at the individual, group, and community levels, as well as advocacy and policy-level engagement. 1. Ensuring peace, stability, and nonviolence. Conflict resolution and mediation. Social workers help resolve conflicts through dialogue and mediation, especially in post-conflict areas or among displaced populations. Peace education, promoting values of nonviolence, tolerance, and coexistence through workshops and community programs. Trauma-informed care, supporting survivors of violence, torture, or war through counseling and rehabilitation services. Community engagement, encouraging community participation in peacebuilding and promoting inclusive governance. 2. Protecting environment. Environmental justice. Social workers advocate for marginalized communities disproportionately affected by environmental degradation, e.g., pollution, displacement due to development projects. Empowering local communities, helping communities assert their rights over land, forests, and water resources. Awareness programs, educating communities about sustainable practices and the link between environmental degradation and human rights. Policy advocacy, engaging with lawmakers to ensure that environmental policies consider the rights of vulnerable populations. 3. Human rights activism. Advocacy and lobbying, campaigning for legal and social reforms to protect the rights of vulnerable groups like women, children, minorities, LGBTQ+ individuals, and people with disabilities. Documentation and reporting. Social workers document human rights violations and assist in legal procedures or referrals to human rights commissions and legal aid bodies. Capacity building, training individuals and communities to understand their rights and equipping them to demand justice. Networking, collaborating with NGOs, human rights organizations, and international bodies to amplify voices and ensure accountability.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in next video.